Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I hope everyone's doing great today. Please remember that these messages are timeless and will be received in divine timing for those who need to hear them. As always, they won't apply for everyone, so if they don't resonate, if they don't apply, let them fly. Pass them by. You're always welcome to come back for the next one. Before we begin today's message, I'd just like to ask everyone to take a moment of silence for the loss of Rob Reiner today. A great actor. Many of you might know him from All in the Family, which was one of his most prominent roles, where he played Mike Stivic, meathead Mike Stivic. He was unfortunately murdered, both he and his wife, in his home last night. So, let's take a moment of silence for him and send him our positive thoughts to his family and friends and loved ones. Uh, I was actually disgusted, first of all, before I begin the message, with Donald Trump's response to uh, to his death, which was totally unchristian. But yet he claims to be a Christian, and so many Christian people bow to him like he's a god, which is unfortunate because they're just very lost, and they're going to be taken down with him, unfortunately, if they don't you know change their ways. Because what they're doing is not in alliance with the greater good. It's not in alliance with the Christ consciousness. It's not in alliance with God. It just doesn't align. Period. And I was thinking about how disgusting and how people just accept this type of behavior as normal, and this is dangerous. And this is where today's message comes in: the dangers of letting things pass and viewing things as normal that shouldn't be viewed as normal. Today's message is from source, okay? And it's a serious message for those who want to believe, and for those who are awake, you understand, you get it. And I'm just here to pass along the messages for those who are willing to hear them. You may have noticed recently with this administration that they have decided to get rid of the penny. Okay, I asked Source about this because I was concerned, and I was thinking to myself, how are people supposed to make change? For instance, if your change is 31 cents, how is that going to happen without the penny? Okay, Source explained to me that this is the first part of the process of them creating the prophecy of the cashless system. This is something that the evangelicals have preached for years. Okay, this cashless society. Okay, now if you look at it, they started with the penny. Now there's some rumors about them trying to get rid of the nickel. This is where it's starting, little by little, to deceive and confuse and take something that looks benign when it's actually something that's malignant that's going on behind the scenes. And this is something that Source wants us to be aware of, because we need to know what's happening before us. This administration is hell bent on creating a Christian society in the United States. Okay? Very much like what they try to do, what they oppose in the Middle Eastern countries when they talk about Sharia law, okay, where those states are run by Muslim religions that they tell you to fear. The evangelicals have the same type of agenda going on here. And they're succeeding because people are refusing to see things for what they are. People are sleeping and refuse to wake up. And unfortunately, if this continues, you're going to wake up to a very sorry state. Okay? When you supply this administration with the garbage that they're selling you, okay, whether it be a Trumpy bear, a gold coin with Donald Trump's face on it, I mean, it's absolutely, to me personally, I mean, it's just unbelievable what people are willing to spend their money on. That stuff is not worth anything, okay? And spoiler alert, half of that stuff, if anyone who owns a Trumpy bear out there, uh, the label, it was created in China, like most of Donald Trump's garbage, the very thing that he tells you to oppose, you know? So us just wants everyone to be aware that we are in perilous times. And for those who are sleeping, they're going to wake up to a reality that they don't want, and most of them, unfortunately, are doing this because of their own hatred. They want to punish other people. They want to play God. Mainly the evangelical church. Catholic Church is right behind them on that one. They want to tell society how it has to be. They have a fear They have a fear because they're realizing as the spirituality movement grows that they are going to lose congregation. And what does that mean for them? Less money in their pockets, less grifting that they'll be able to do. They can only grift off of people who are asleep. Okay? And they did a great job at it for years. They have, in my opinion, decimated the Bible. They desecrated it. Okay? They play by their own rules. They don't follow what's in the Bible. They took parts out, parts that didn't serve them, but left the parts in that they can use to place fear in other people. That is not how Source wants us to live. We are meant to live free. We are meant to live in harmony with each other. And unfortunately, we're going down the tubes because people refuse to see the reality for what it is. They refuse to wake up, you know. Unfortunately, they're going to regret when they don't listen to people like myself who are, putting ourselves out here, trying to guide people to the light and to show them what's going on to wake them up. Half of the time we get laughed at, and that's cool because you know what? Those who get it, get it. So I'm not concerned about who's laughing at what I have to say. I'm not concerned about who believes it, who doesn't believe it. You know, we all have free will. You could do what you want, but you can't say that you weren't warned when the shit finally hits the fan. Okay? Source really needs us to be aware. And there's many of you out there that, you're aware, but you're still associating with people who aren't. And that's dragging you down. There's so many people out there that God has asked you to do something and you feel ashamed to do it. Don't ever feel shame for what God asks you to do. Because God will supply for you when the time comes. Everything happens in divine timing and we have to accept that. You know, we all want things done in our own time. And when God asks us to do things, we neglect and we don't listen, and then we wonder why things aren't going the way that we'd like in our life. We have the control to change that. And everyone who I'm speaking to, especially the small collective that's here, the ones of you who are real, because there are some out there, unfortunately, that are opposing, and that's, part of my ex's coven that he thinks I'm unaware of, but I'm totally aware of. But like I said, God takes care of them, and they'll be receiving what they have coming to them. As a matter of fact, it should be starting now. And, you know, but they did it to themselves. That's the point. They brought it upon themselves. It's not anything that I wish upon anyone because I wish no ill will towards anyone. Okay? But I am out here to put a message for those who are wise enough to listen, for those who want to understand, for those who want to live in a better existence. Because we can get there together. We can do this. We got this. But we got to do the work. You got to put in the work. You can't stay quiet. You can't stay unaware. You can't say, oh, this is just, nonsense. Because little by little, we're going to lose everything, unfortunately, before the earth readjusts itself to where it's supposed to be. And times are going to get rough if people don't want to listen. Times are going to get very, very difficult, especially if they go to a cashless society. The very thing the evangelicals speak about all the time is the mark of the beast. They carry their mark of the beast daily. You know what that is? Their cell phone that tracks them. Their little apps that they can just click on something and make a purchase. That's all a cashless money society, which is the very thing that the evangelicals have professed for years or preached about the dangers, the warnings of the end times, so they called it. But yet they're doing everything in their power to create the end times. They worship a man, unfortunately, as a god. They have placed an individual, Donald Trump, and the Republican Party above God. And what do you think God thinks about that? Okay, let's go to the commandments. I am the Lord your God. Thou shalt not put any other gods before me. I didn't make up the rules. That's what they profess to believe. These individuals break the commandments daily. And they're doing it to gain control because they believe that they are going to have favor with this political party when everything is said and done, unrealizing that they too will eventually be enslaved like the people they want to enslave, like the brown people they want to harm, like the Native Americans that they want to harm because they feel that they're above them. Nobody's above anyone, including myself. No one. There's not one single person out there that's above anyone. And anyone who thinks that is sorely mistaken because we can all learn. We can all learn from each other. We can learn from young to old. We can learn from animals. But we have to be open to the experience. So basically, today's message is a warning to society to please wake up. Wake up before it's too late. Because when you do finally wake up, it just might be to a reality that you don't want to live in. And, that should really scare people because things are about to get rough. They are. If things continue down this road, if we continue down this path of denial and resistance, things are going to get rough. I mean, the change itself is rough within itself, but it doesn't have to be as rough as it can get when people continue to resist the change that's going to happen, which is a just society for everyone to live in. The society that the spiritual movement is trying to create and move forward. And we each have a part to play, every single one of us. Every one of us, we each have a part to play. So please, do your part. Help awaken others who want to listen. Show them the way. Show them through your own actions, through your own behaviors. That's how we show people. Not through force, through action, through how we behave. Be something that you would want to be a friend with. I'm going to leave it at that. I want to thank everyone for stopping by and wish you all a good night. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.